Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Up first today, Kyle Bauer visits with Ron Ohlde, who is on the United Soybean Board. Then enjoy our weekly Kansas Soybean update. Next, Kyle is back with John Heisdorffer with the US Soybean Export Council. And then it's our Kansas Farm Bureau update. We'll end our show with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane Toews. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first on today's show, Kyle and Ron Ohlde visit about high oleic soybean oil.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Ron Ohlde with the United Soybean Board. Ron, you have been involved in the soybean industry your entire life, and serving on the United Soybean Board, it brings another realm. What sort of things does the Soybean Board do and/or are you working on right now?
Well, on the United Soybean Board, one of our main projects and objectives right now is our high oleic program, and it's a program that we're trying to bring back some of the exports that we've lost, because of the trans fats issues and things like that. So it's an improved product, not only for our consumers but also for our end users across the world.
And so it's a different complex of fats that are in the soy oil?
Yes, it has some different components, both for human use and also for our number one customer, our animal ag industry. And like I said, it's got some improved components, especially on the amino acid side. So those are some of the attributes of it that we think will try and get us back to some of the export losses that we had occurred.
Well, and of course, soybeans, unlike a lot of products or commodities, you have two distinct products that come out of soybeans, both meal and oil. But the high oleic oil has no trans fats or just low trans fats? Well,
it's as of right now, they are lower, and we're working on getting them lower yet. But it has a much better shelf life. It's just a better product than what we've currently had.
And that has not been something that's been easy to come by. It's been worked on for a long time.
Yes, it has. We've worked on it really hard here for probably the last 5 to 6 years. And the United Soybean Board, we felt so strongly about it that we've invested $60 million into this project over this period of time. So it is an improvement. We're getting there, and we're all pretty excited about it.
Just so everyone understands, that $60 million actually came from producers.
That came from the checkoff. So yes, this is one example of how we're trying to invest our dollars from the checkoff and to put more of the profitability back into the producer's hands.
And truly, when you talk about high oleic, it's everything from domestic market to international market, from animal feed to people feed.
That is correct. It covers the whole gamut of the soybean industry.
We're visiting with Ron Ohlde. He is with I want to make sure I get this right, United Soybean Board. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. John Bays is joining us. He is a market analyst with the US Soybean Export Council. And John, what a year for 2016 concerning US soybean exports.
It looks like we're going to have a very good year, probably record exports of soybeans in the current marketing year, following a record last year. Our sales are running well ahead of last year, particularly with exports to China. We're on line to have a record year for sure.
What are the biggest factors as to we see why that we continue with the growth in U.S. soy exports?
Well, number one by far is China. We're about 5 million tons ahead of last year in the exports to China. They've really been growing in that market, and our share went up this last year, so we're doing very well in that market. But the other markets that are consistently good for us are Southeast Asia, particularly into Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, but also into Latin America, particularly Mexico, which has been a very good market for us.
And the U.S. has always been a very reliable supplier to so many countries.
Absolutely. That's one of the key things, is that when people know that when they buy from the United States, they're going to get what they want, shipped on time, and the quality is going to be good.
The soy checkoff really works around the world to ensure those advantages that U.S. soy brings to the table?
Yes. I mean, the industry has been working overseas since 1956 to educate users around the world on how to buy soybeans from the U.S., how to use soybean meal, use soybean oil, and to work with them if they've got a problem sourcing from the U.S. If there's a quality problem, they only have to contact the U.S. Soybean Export Council, and the council staff and consultants will begin immediately to start trying to find a solution to the problem.
An area of particular growth out there is the Asian subcontinent as well.
We are seeing really good growth now in demand in Bangladesh and Pakistan, which is a relatively recent time that occurred, but we're shipping quite a lot into that market now. And I think you're going to see more. And I think within the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to see significant exports of soybeans to India, which has in the past been a net exporter of soybean meal.
And another key in regards to growing those markets is our ability to have year-round supply and being able to export that product.
That's correct, particularly the markets nearby us. We are in a position to supply them year-round, and other countries in the world. I mean, like last year in the summer, Brazil's stocks got short, and we started exporting a whole lot more soybeans to different markets around the world during July and August.
John, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is John Bays, U.S. Soybean Export Council market analyst, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor as Kyle interviews John Heisdorffer.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle and John discuss how the US Soybean Export Council works to increase international soybean trade.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have John Heisdorffer with US Soybean Export Council. When you talk about soybeans in the United States, you're talking about exports. It's a huge part of that market.
That's correct, and one of our biggest customers is China, of course, and they take 1 out of every 4 rows of soybeans grown in the U.S.
Yeah, it's amazing, and yet the entire crop still, there's even more of that that is exported.
That's right. About 60% of soybeans are exported, and if you figure in livestock in the U.S. that's fed and everything, it can be up to 70%.
And I'm going to clarify that because a few years ago I saw a display that you folks had, and it really is, I mean, when you export hogs, you export chickens, and those are fed soybeans and ultimately exported. Those beans ultimately then are exported.
That's correct. And the same way, you know, when you processor does soybeans, the oil goes for different things, you know, either food or even biodiesel. And then the meal, of course, is feeding livestock.
Why is it so many of our beans are exported? Why don't we just use them all here in this country?
Well, we just produce too many, that's all. And, you know, it's one of those things that protein is needed around the world, and U.S. has quality grain, and that's why we are lucky enough to be a large exporter.
Take, for instance, in China, they have raised lots of feed grains, have a huge number of livestock, but when they feed them soybeans, it just makes their productivity go out the roof.
That's correct. And aquaculture now is being one of the things that soybean meal is helping to produce more fish faster.
Truly, that aquaculture usage, though, a lot of that research was funded by soybean farmers.
That's correct. It was, and has been for the last 10 years probably.
So when we talk about your funding on the Soybean Export Council, how is the Soybean Export Council funded?
We're funded by USB, helps fund a lot, is our major funder, and then USDA also gives us some funds to work with.
So does it involve export promotion or research or both?
It can be both. As far as research, we don't really do research, but we help the end user show them ways that they can increase their gains and things by using US soybean meal.
Certainly, when you look at export markets, a lot of the same people that we deal with here in the United States are helping to market that product in foreign countries as well with their business presence.
Right, and that's what USEC, United States Soybean Export Council, does not sell soybeans. We help the processors here, the exporters here, sell their product overseas.
We're visiting with John Heisdorffer. He is with the US Soybean Export Council. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Coming up after the break, it's our Kansas Farm Bureau update. Stay tuned.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
AFBF welcomed the nomination of Judge Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court by President Donald Trump and is calling on Congress to confirm the nomination. AFBF Senior Counsel for Public Policy Danielle Quist says Gorsuch's approach to law will benefit farmers and ranchers.
He looks very closely at what the words of the Constitution or federal statutes and regulations, what they actually say in a very plain meaning, ordinary type of way. And that's how he interprets the law. That's a breath of fresh air on the federal bench and very much in line with Justice Scalia's approach to legal problems as well.
Quist says Gorsuch's record shows a healthy skepticism of the complex and burdensome regulations that farmers and ranchers deal with.
He's not quick to defer to how the government interprets the laws they're supposed to execute. He looks closely at the laws, what does Congress say? And he interprets those laws rather than deferring to what federal departments and agencies believe the interpretation should be. And that's the way it should be. That's what our courts are supposed to do, interpret the laws as written.
She says Congress needs to confirm Gorsuch to the Supreme Court quickly.
There's not been a full court now for over a year, and there's been many cases that have not been taken by the Supreme Court. We have some very important cases coming up, including the question on jurisdiction under the Waters of the U.S. rule, and we need to get someone into the Supreme Court quickly.
Michael Clements, Washington.
Come back after the break for this week's Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
Clyde Sutton, Ness City, Kansas. Lived on this place all my life. About a year and a half ago, got to where I couldn't saddle a horse. The pain was terrible. Read about stem cell. First it wasn't for me, then they started doing neck and back. Before I went down to Manhattan, the pain I was having from my neck down to my hand was curling my hand back. Some people had thought I almost had a stroke, and my shoulder had drawed up. I couldn't lift, I couldn't sleep, I really couldn't do anything, and was scheduled to be operated on, but was scared of the knife, I guess. Went and had it done. As you can see, I saddled a horse. I'm still building fence. Love to shoot a shotgun rifle, and I'm able to participate, not like I used to, but nevertheless I can do the things I used to do. And I want to personally thank the doctors, nurses, staff at Kansas Regenerative Medicine for the opportunity they give me to have my life back again.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to today on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Toews.
Hey, thank you for the introduction.
I tried to say it with more enthusiasm this time, because sometimes you think I kind of am downtrodden towards you.
A while back, I was a little less than impressed with the enthusiasm you had.
Well, I've been less than impressed with you many times.
Yeah, all's fair. Kind of evens out.
It kind of evens out.
So, Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day.
Let me give a fact or fiction.
You want to do it?
I want to do it.
Well, next time.
All right.
Patrol officers and policemen, oh no, that is a policeman. Patrol officers and firefighters make roughly the same average annual salary.
I'll go true.
It's false.
Really?
Yeah. Firefighters don't get paid terribly well.
You're talking
relatively speaking, nationally, they say the average annual salary is just short of $39,000
over the entire nation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And police patrol officers, they're saying just short of $48,000. So nearly, well, $9,000.
Well, it's not that being a fireman
different.
Isn't dangerous, but you at least don't have people shooting at you.
Well,
you can kind of see where your danger is. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few incidents, unfortunately, but
well, honestly, though,
the hours are both kind of brutal, or can be.
Yeah, they're certainly tough on a family.
Unless they're, I don't know if firehouses are doing 12 and 12s or whether they're doing 24 on, 24 off.
I was going to say the one firemen I knew were 24 on, 24 off.
Is that what they were doing?
Or something like that.
Actually, I have one, if not more. Probably ought to talk to my cousins. I think I have one that's a fireman in the eastern part of the state.
Yeah, you'd ask him sometime.
Yeah.
Just look him right in the eye and say, "Hey,
what do you get paid? You get paid more than the police."
No. Don't ask him what he get paid.
What's your hours?
Or do you work? So,
I know
thing with your 24
works.
on. I bet how many days they don't. Depending on their city, but they wouldn't be all that busy. And then there'd be other times, I bet they don't sleep at all.
I was
going to
say,
hours.
yeah, you might not get any sleep.
Yeah. So which one would you rather be, a fireman or a policeman?
I'd rather be a fireman than a policeman.
I know we're talking in a city or a town the size of Clay Center, Kansas.
Either probably.
Okay, in Chicago, you would rather be
in Chicago, I would
fireman?
rather be a fireman than a policeman.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think your risk is more predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've got lots of good equipment.
Not that there aren't a few unfortunate cases where firemen have been shot at when they show up. When they show up to put out a fire, there have been some of those cases. But a policeman, particularly these days,
they never know.
No, I mean it can be a simple pulling somebody over for speeding or who knows.
Yeah. I honestly think that our point of view on that is not that unusual. I think the police are having a harder time recruiting than they were a few years ago. And if my son or daughter were a policeman, I would be more concerned today than I would have been 10 years ago.
Which my wife has a cousin that's a highway patrolman in the southern part of the state. And I really haven't talked to him about how is your anxiety level? I would think it would have to be elevated. But at the same time, they go through all kinds of training. I'm assuming they, put it out of their mind that you got to do a job and the job you'll do.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.